comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
Poverty. Poverty is a condition of not being able to afford basic human needs such as nutrition, clean water, shelter, healthcare, education, and clothing. The subfields involved in this is first the economy. No money equals no economy. Less money equals less purchases. Less purchases equals less business production. Less business production equals fewer jobs. Fewer jobs then would equals to less money. The reason why there are fewer jobs is probably because the poor didn't get enough education, so they do not know how to operate some of the jobs. And the economy of a country may be very high, but it may not help the poor as much. Another subfield involved is the environment. So poverty impacting environment. People who have to cook in open fires will pollute the air with the smoke of the fire. Wealthy people can invest in pollution control equipments, but the poor do not have this luxury. People in tropical regions who are unwealthy earn money for catching tropical fish. But to catch the fish more easily, they use chemical compounds or dynamite to stun the fish, and that pollutes and destroys the reef environment. Homeless people may also urinate, bleed, throw away byproducts of their daily use, and vomit all on the asphalt of the city. Next, environment impacting poverty. Landslides can bring death and destruction to the poor people who live in the mountains. They live in poor air quality, so they would get sick, but they do not have health care. B. Why is this so urgent? Many crimes were committed from those who had unprivileged backgrounds, so crime rates would rise. No productivity is a drag in the economy. People die from preventable diseases because they cannot afford to cure it, and many can't afford a house to live in to protect them. Also, 15 million children are dying every year of hunger. What is being done? There are many organizations, funds, charities. There are countless governmental and non-governmental organizations dedicated to decrease poverty. Education, healthcare, water, and sanitation is provided in some places. What ideally should be done? There should be birth control with the people who are not wealthy because poor people tend to have more children, and that does not help. And there should also be security to the poor, and they should provide at least a small shelter. Water scarcity. Water scarcity is the lack of enough water or lack of access to safe water. The subfield involved in this is the environment. Areas with low rainfall, low groundwater supplies, a few lakes or rivers, and generally arid conditions have difficulty accessing water because it is not available. B. Why is it urgent? It is urgent because there is a massive number of people dying each day from no access to clean water. C. What is being done? Currently, many companies are trying to reduce the use of clean water and are also creating more efficient taps, bathtubs, sinks, etc. D. What ideally should be done? Perhaps if a bunch of countries were to share some of the unused clean water to the less fortunate countries, it could reduce the no access to clean water problem.
Terrorism. Terrorism is definitely a concern to our world today. The subfields directly involved with terrorism include economics, tourism, and national income and growth. Following any terrorist attack, there is an immediate economic impact, which varies depending on the size of the attack and what will be required to clean up and fix the damaged area. Human casualties, injuries, and healthcare expenses are definitely impacted. We are also affected by terrorism in indirect ways. For example, following a terrorist attack, many people will not want to go to the country that was attacked, as they may be afraid it will happen again. Foreign trade may be affected as people may not want to trade with a country at risk, and it may also increase transaction costs. There is also a possibility that terrorist attacks could destroy the goods that are exported. A country may also have their national income and growth affected. After the terrorist event, countries have to pay for the reconstruction of what was destroyed, and that could impact their national income and growth, as the focus will be on restoration, not growing. The problem is very urgent because it makes people afraid and destroys their community. It also brings a lot of pain and suffering to a certain area. What is being done about this issue? In America, they have the Department of Homeland Security, which was created to keep America safe and free of terrorist attacks. Ideally, we need to continue being aware and always reporting things that don't seem right. If everyone works together to watch for any actions they feel are unsafe, we will all find ourselves living in a safer world. Global warming is a definite issue in the 21st century. There are many subfields of geography involved with global warming. For example, there are political factors as countries vary in their response to climate change. Small island nations are aware of the dangers of global warming to their existence. Some larger countries, like the United States, have groups that do not believe in global warming and fight to show that it doesn't exist. Historically, we can learn about global warming from data found in tree rings, ice levels, ice caps in Greenland, and the carbon levels that can be found in soil samples. Each of these factors affect our understanding of how global warming is affecting our planet today and just how severe of an issue it is. The main economic factor is that people and companies are driven by money. Many do not want to stop or change their practices due to the cost involved, even if it would be beneficial to our world. Geographically, as the globe temperatures rise, ice caps will melt and will eventually raise the sea levels worldwide. This problem is so urgent because the Earth is warming and the ice caps are melting. If the ice caps melt away, penguins, polar bears, and other animals that live in the cold would have nowhere to go. We need to be aware of all the different gases that we are burning and letting into the Earth, causing the atmosphere to heat up the Earth. The ice is melting, and as a result, the Earth is getting hotter. Some countries are working to prevent global warming. Some examples of this include the agreement made in 1997 in Kyoto, Japan. They agreed to cut the amount of gases their industries were polluting into the Earth. They also agreed to cut the amount of carbon dioxide that was coming from their industries by changing the way power is produced. Another example came in 2003, when the British government made plans to produce electricity that does not damage the environment. What can be done? Energy should be produced in a more environmentally friendly way, instead of letting these toxic gases into the Earth. People should use more public transportation, which would cut down on gas emissions. People should also use solar panels for solar energy.
Education. In the sub-Saharan, 11.0 million children leave school before completing their primary education. Same with South and West Asia, 13.54 million students with the same case. 61 million primary school-age children were not enrolled in school in 2010. 47% never expected to enter school. 26% attended school but left. 27% were expected to attend school in the future. Education empowers women to make healthy decisions about their lives. For example, women in Mali with a secondary level education or higher have an average of 3 children, while those with no education have an average of 7. What should be done about this problem? Everyone should have an opportunity to go to school. That way, if they get an education, they can either have better jobs with better pay and also go to college.